Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatina Ziha binti Muhammad Zamri. My metric number is 2024697918. Today I will present about impact on local culture and identity. My presentation focuses on how globalization affects food systems and how these changes influence local food identity, especially in Malaysia. First, I will explain what globalization means. Globalization refers to the increasing connection between countries through trade, technology, communications, and cultural exchange. In food systems, globalization affects how food is produced, distributed, and consumed. Today, people can easily access food ingredients and cuisine from different countries. For example, in Malaysia, we can find Korean food, Japanese food, Western food, Middle East food, and many other international cuisines. This shows how food culture is no longer limited to one country only. Globalization brings many benefits because it gives consumers more choices. However, it also influences local food traditions and identities. When foreign food becomes more popular, traditional food may face challenges in maintaining its original value and importance. Next, globalization has changed food system in three ways: production, distribution, and consumptions. For production, globalization has encouraged the use of modern technology and large-scale food production. Food companies can produce food faster in larger quantities. Many restaurants and food manufacturers also use imported ingredients to create different types. For distribution, food can now be transported globally. Ingredients and food products can move from one country to another more easily. International restaurant chains such as McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, and other brands have also expanded into Malaysia. For consumption, Malaysians are more exposed to foreign cuisines. Social media also play an important role in influencing food trends. Platforms such as TikTok and Instagram made certain foods become viral very quickly. For example, Korean food, Japanese food, and Western fast food are very popular among Malaysians, especially young people. This shows that globalization has changed not only what people eat, but also how people choose and experience food. The next issue is whether traditional food is losing its authenticity. Traditional food reflects culture, history, and heritage. It's not just about taste, but also about identity and memory. Many traditional food are connected to family, traditions, festivals, and community practices. However, globalization and modernization has changed the way traditional food is prepared and presented. Modern versions often modify the ingredients, cooking methods, and appearance of traditional dishes. Commercialization can also change the original taste and presentation. Some businesses modify traditional food to make it more attractive, cheaper, or easier to sell. This can help the business grow, but at the same time, it may reduce the authenticity of the food. For example, traditional kueh is usually made using original recipes and traditional methods. But today, there are many modern fusion kueh with new colors, flavors, and toppings. Another example is nasi lemak. Traditionally, nasi lemak is served with coconut rice, sambal anchovies, peanuts, cucumber, and egg. But now, there are modern versions such as nasi lemak burger. These changes are not completely negative, but they raise an important question. Will younger generations still know the original version of traditional food? So, in my opinion, traditional food can be modernized, but the original recipe and cultural meaning should not be forgotten. For this slide, I would like to give an example of traditional food and modern food. One clear example is nasi lemak. The traditional version represents Malaysian food identity because it is widely known as enjoyed by many communities. It has a family taste and also presentation. However, nasi lemak burger is a modern version that combines Malaysian flavors with a Western food format. This shows adaptation and creativity. The positive side is that it can attract younger consumers and introduce local flavor in a new way. But the negative side is that if people only know the modern version, they may not fully understand the cultural background of the original dish. So, this example shows that the balance between modernization and cultural preservation. Fusion food is another important impact of globalization. Fusion food means combining local and international food elements to create new dishes. In Malaysia, fusion food is becoming more common because consumers enjoy trying something new and creative. Example include nasi lemak burger, rendang pizza, durian cheesecake, and salted egg croissant. Fusion food has several positive effects. First, it attracts younger consumers because the food looks modern and interesting. Second, it helps promote Malaysian food internationally. Third, it encourages creativity in the food industry. For example, rendang pizza uses a traditional Malaysian flavor in an international dish. This can make local food more appealing to people who are not familiar with Malaysian cuisine. However, fusion food also has negative effect. If the dish is changed too much, the traditional identity may become less recognizable. The cultural meaning behind the food may also become diluted. So, fusion food is useful, but it must be done carefully. It should promote the traditional food, not replace it. Next is preservation versus adaptation. Preservation means protecting traditional recipe, cooking methods, and cultural practices. This is important because food knowledge is part of cultural heritage. If traditional cooking skills are not passed down to younger generations, they may slowly disappear. Adaptation means modifying food to suit modern lifestyle and health trends. For example, some traditional food may be made with less sugar, less oil, or new ingredients to attract modern consumers. Both preservation and adaptation are important. Preservation helps protect cultural identity, and also adaptation helps traditional food remain relevant in today's society. There are also economic effects on how the positive side. Globalization creates business opportunities, support food tourism, and generate income for local entrepreneurs. For example, local businesses can sell traditional food in modern packaging or promote it through online platforms. On the negative side, small traditional businesses may face competition from international brands. They may also depend more on imported ingredients, which can increase costs. In my opinion, traditional food should adapt to modern trends without losing its cultural identity. The best approach is not to reject modernization, but to control how much change is acceptable. In conclusion, globalization has transformed food production, distribution, and consumption. It creates opportunities for innovation and economic growth. People can enjoy more food choices and local businesses can create new products for wider markets. However, globalization also challenges the authenticity of traditional foods. When traditional food is changed too much, its cultural identity may become weaker. Fusion food and modernization can help traditional food remain relevant, but especially among younger generation. But preservation is still important to protect local culture and food identity. The key message of my presentation is traditional food should evolve with time while preserving its cultural roots. This means traditional food does not need to stay exactly the same forever, but its original meaning, history, and identity should still be respected. Thank you.